Hey guys, I'm Jake with ITC, and this is the ITC Sawboss. Now this box was packaged for this video, just based on wanting some extra options in there, just to show you all of the options that are available when you're buying this kit off of our website. So this is not packed how you would receive it, just because we knew that we weren't sending this via UPS. So I think I'm going to take everything out of the box and then we'll break it down and I'll show you the individual items, what they do, what they're for, etc. So this is how our Sawboss will come. It will come wrapped in bubble wrap like this. You just have to cut the tape and peel it off, and it rolls off nice. Here it is. So this is a chainsaw carrier that we had developed. It goes on our quick attach platform with our loader mount and ROPS mount. I'll show you that here in a second. But essentially it's a piece of 11 gauge steel. We've got this backing plate with 2 flanges and some holes for a bungee cord if you're going to try to mount this in like a horizontal position. Really not required, but it's not a bad idea to secure your chainsaw if you are having it in that horizontal position. Most of the time what we find is just the pressure of the power head on the end with the chain biting inside of this plastic liner is enough to keep it from moving. And you can't even actually pull it out most of the time. So you have to release your chain brake so your chain can roll, and then it'll slide right out. But if you're putting it in or out, take the chain brake off. Once it's in place, go ahead and set your chain brake, and that essentially locks it in place. So we talked about this backing plate. So we've got this 11 gauge backing plate. We've got then 10 studs that are welded onto it. We've got 4 square holes in the back for the carriage bolts. And then we have a plastic HDPE liner. So there is a 4-piece liner inside of here that is fully replaceable in the field. All you would need to do to change it is pull the 10 nuts, pull the faceplate off, pull the liner out, put a new liner in, put the faceplate back on, put the nuts back on. And the liner is covered for life with this product. In fact, the entire product is covered for life. There is a full lifetime warranty on this. If you break it, we will replace it. So this is the most up-to-date current design of the Sawboss. The faceplate on here used to just be a flat piece of steel, and we had decided to make it a little bit wider, throw a 90-degree bend on it on either side, and then now you get this nice like metal transition right to metal. You don't have that plastic liner showing on the outside. Not that it looked bad, but it doesn't look as nice as this does. Now, the only real reason we did that was at the top, this spacer in here. Okay, so there's 2 spacers. So you've got a piece that goes all the way across that's 3/16 of an inch thick. And then you have a gap for your bar to go into. So there's a spacer that's also, or that is 3/8 of an inch thick, and then another piece that goes all the way across. So your chain is essentially entirely surrounded by plastic. It can't touch any metal on the inside of the scabbard whatsoever. And we only ever had it happen once, but the space, we had a customer that when he was pulling the chainsaw out, he put a lot of side load on it, and the spacer actually broke. So the spacer broke right at where this top hole was drilled, and it just kind of broke out the side. And what we had determined was the chainsaw putting that side load was pushing on just the spacer. So we looked into options of like, do we make this back piece one piece, right? Do we start with a thicker material and then mill out all of that gap? And we determined it was just too wasteful to do that, you know, as far as like material usage. So this was our permanent solution. Now, this 90-degree bend now passes that side spacer and prevents that spacer from being able to spring out, right? So it can flex out a little bit, but just enough until it catches this steel that's on the outside, and then it's not going to flex anymore. So that was our update and our fix. We had one customer have that issue, and it was enough of an issue for us to say, let's find a solution. So we've had that issue happen one time, and then we had one time where a customer had this on his tractor, and his front axle was fully articulated, and he was turning, and he caught it with a tire and actually bent it, like right here, bent the whole carrier. So we were really happy to send him a new one, and then we'll Actually, this happened recently, so we'll be getting that one back and kind of checking it out. But I don't think there's anything we could have done differently. I think that it failed where it was supposed to fail, when it was supposed to fail. But other than that, we haven't had any issues with, people needing to replace this thing, even after years of daily use. It is a rock solid piece of equipment. So you can get this with 2 mounts. You can get our loader mount, which is definitely more popular. You can get our ROPS mount. So the ROPS mount's quick, it's easy. We'll show you how it works. So on the back of the chainsaw carrier, you're gonna have 4 bolts. Those 4 bolts line up with these 4 holes. So this is our quick attach plate. This will go onto the back, right here. It can go in either or any direction, technically. Okay, so it's a symmetrical pattern, so it can get mounted in any direction. Then you have our ROPS mount, which is here. Okay, so this mounts on your ROPS with the 2 included U-bolts and the included hardware. Once this is on your ROPS and mounted, you can then either bolt this on here at an angle, or you can bolt it on vertically. And then your chainsaw carrier will drop into the ROPS mount. There's a hole here on the side for a pin, so you can put that pin in place, and then you don't need to worry about it ever coming back off. And if you want to take it off, you just pull the pin out, lift this off, and then we have a wall mount. So this can get mounted on your wall, so when you take your chainsaw carrier off your tractor, you have a nice convenient place to put it up and out of your way. We have a couple customers that have a couple of these, and they actually use them on their wall for chainsaw storage. So when they are done with that chainsaw, they'll just take the whole carrier off and hang it on the wall, and then their chainsaws are in a really nice, safe place up and out of the way. So this is our ROPS mount. And then here's our loader mount. Similar in profile to the wall mount, but as you can see, a lot thicker material. And this comes with the U-bolt. Comes with a large U-bolt that has an 8-inch opening here. So it'll go around essentially an 8-inch width for the kind of the loader frame in there. And then on the back of the loader mount, this portion is 3 inches tall. So as long as you have 3 inches of flat vertical space that's less than 8 inches wide, you can mount this. In this same situation, the loader mount locks into it, and that's it. That's all it takes. So you get this mounted up onto here. You get your loader mount onto the tractor with the U-bolt, and then the quick attach plate will just lock into place with your chainsaw carrier. Now we have the option to add a chain box. Now we only have this on the Sawboss. We don't have this on our fixed mount chainsaw carrier. Okay, so I will grab a chain box real quick and show you what that is all about. So we have the 4 bolts that are captured inside of here. What I mean by that is they don't come out. So they can't fall out of there. And this is our chain box. And with the chain box comes another bag of hardware. So this chain box will fit directly onto here. Let's line up our hardware. And this will mount directly to the chainsaw carrier. So when you do remove your chainsaw carrier, you're going to be removing the chain box as well. Now this is a 12-inch deep box. It is 6 inches wide and 4 inches tall, I guess in this orientation. It'll hold 20 foot of 5/16 chain without much of an issue. And then the quick attach plate goes on this side of the chain box. So this chain box is silver, obviously it's not black. So we have these galvanized. So we'll build this whole thing, we'll weld our base plate in, we'll cut all of our holes in it, and then we send this out to a galvanizing plant, and then they'll galvanize the part, and then we'll ultimately go out and pick them up and bring them back to our shop. But that prevents you from needing to ever worry about this thing like rusting out. You know, dragging chain in and out of it isn't necessarily the best thing on a powder coated surface. So we just skipped that and just went right to galvanized. Now we may change that in the future, but at least for now, this is our chain box design with the galvanizing. So when you add that chain box add-on, this is what you're adding. And it goes on this side. So it does not end up staying on the tractor. We've had some customers that want the chain box to stay there and be able to take the chainsaw on and off. And unfortunately, that's not how the system is currently designed. So this will stay with the chainsaw carrier at all times. Now, when you put this all together, this ends up being pretty heavy. So it's definitely very well built. We're not worried about you breaking it. That's why we put the lifetime warranty on the chainsaw carrier. And honestly, I mean, we could on the chain box too, because there's no way you're breaking this thing. It is 3/16 of an inch thick. It is some heavy steel, and it's robust. You're not going to break it. Our products we try to design for lifetime use, or as much of that as we really can. So that is our chainsaw carrier. Here's our chain box. We did our loader mount. We talked about our ROPS mount. The only other thing that we're going to talk about really quick is this bag of hardware. Now, when you're buying this, the Sawboss loader kit, it's going to ask about the John Deere 440R loader. Now, if you don't have a John Deere 440R loader, ignore it, click no. And if you do, this is what you're going to get. So essentially, this U-bolt isn't long enough for that loader. So it comes with two, I'll take it out of the bag. We'll show you, okay. So it comes with coupling nuts and bolts. So these nuts will thread onto here, and then this bolt will go into the end of this nut. So it essentially just makes the U-bolt longer. Now, we do have a real extra long version of this U-bolt that generally requires to be installed and then cut off. And that works for pretty much anything. It would work in replacement of this kit, but we have the kits, so we'll continue to offer them to people. Now, if you do run into a situation where you do need that longer U-bolt, email me, call me, let me know. I'll be happy to get you the U-bolt that you need. So that is our Sawboss loader kit, our ROPS mount, our loader mount, chain box. We talked about the wall mount. So you get a pretty good idea of what is going to be coming in your package depending on the configuration that you order. Now, I don't know if I mentioned, but with the ROPS mount and loader mount, they both work with the same quick attach plate, and the quick attach plate works with all of our accessories. So whether you have like the toolbox tray and the toolbox carrier, this plate is going to be the same thing. So that means that you can go and swap between your chainsaw carrier and your toolbox carrier in about 30 seconds. Pull the pin, lift one off, drop one in place, and put the pin back in, and you're good to go. So that's what I've got. If you've got any questions, please reach out, give me a call, 315-335-5421, or email me at jake@itcquickattach.com. Thanks, have a great day.